Hi, my name is Chris Holton Jablonski, and it is my great joy and privilege to serve you as your minister. This is the opening of Eyes by David Whyte. That day I saw beneath dark clouds the passing of light over the water, and I heard the voice of the world speak out. I knew then, as I had before, life is no passing memory of what has been, nor the remaining pages in a great book waiting to be read. It is the opening of eyes long closed. It is the vision of far-off things seen for the silence they hold. It is the heart, after years of secret conversing, speaking out loud in the clear air. It is Moses in the desert, fallen to his knees before the lit bush. It is the man throwing away his shoes as if to enter heaven, and finding himself astonished, opened at last, in love with solid ground. I love the image at the end, especially. The man, barefoot, fallen in love with solid ground, astonished, opened at last. As many of you know, we have been making our way through the 6 sources of Unitarian Universalism this summer, and we are this week touching on a new one, both today and in the service on Sunday. It is the spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Living in harmony with the rhythms of nature, I think, has saved me this pandemic. Moments of connection and return, moments of remembering my place in the larger circle of life. I remember months ago now, the first time we left the house, the first time I went to swim in a lake. It had been months in our home, all of us squeezed in, months of fear and sorrow punctuated by the songs of kazoos and precious snuggles, but the walls were close in. And then we drove, and I walked down to the shore of the water and the expanse. The water stretching out so far. It wasn't even that huge of a lake, but I had been inside so long. I had been cooped up so long. And seeing the water, feeling the expanse, reaching my feet then into the water and plunging my whole self in, I was returned somehow, washed clean somehow. Everything was all still there. The pandemic, the uncertainty, the ocean of suffering just right over there. But there in the water, I returned to something. This is The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and what my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. Come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. As some of you know, we love to camp in my family, usually at least twice in the summer. we make our way up to Lake Umbagog, about 4 hours north in the White Mountains. A beautiful lake nestled between New Hampshire and Maine, 12 miles long, with campsites sprinkled along its shores. For many years now, we have camped, first me alone with one of my sons at a time, some precious one-on-one time in the midst of a large family. And then last year, me and both of my boys together, just before we moved to start this whole new chapter of our lives here with you all. For years, we have returned to these same woods, to this same wild. Often, there is a mist, a fog on the lake in the morning. We rise early. I make coffee and cocoa. My favorite new camping toy, I have to say here, is a jet boil. Boils water so fast with so little fuel, well worth an investment even if you camp just a little bit. Ask me about this powerful little tool. Often the mist fills the lake so that the usual expanse of view is wiped clean and it's just you, just that shore, just that water before you. And slowly the mist lifts. To me, with this source, when we say living in harmony with the rhythms of nature, I think of mornings as the mist lifts and the clouds can be seen, miles and miles of view, watching, looking for what the day may hold. Sunshine welcoming hours of swimming. One day this summer, camping on that same lake, we were blessed with a warm day full of sun, and my 10-year-old Jack spent, without exaggeration, 5 hours in the water swimming. And then other days, the fog lifts and you see dark clouds swirling. There might be a whole day spent in a tent playing games. And then the slightest break in the rain might be enough to call you into the water. When we returned back from this most recent camping back home to my beloved and our sweet dog, I was struck by the explosion of our gardens. So many of you have found so much nurturing and solace and grounding in your gardens in this time. This is that same return, the same power of the rhythms of nature. We are here in my house in that sweet beginning place in our relationship with our gardens in this new home. Slowly settling in, slowly discovering what thrives where, harvesting our first abundance of cherry tomatoes, that singular smell left on our fingertips. I cherish the hours of tending, loving our land, coaxing and caring, witnessing, returning, paying attention. We have a gardening group here at the church, which folks have been loving and which will continue in the months to come. If you'd like to be connected to that group, just reach out to me and I can get you connected. Here we are. I have always loved this part of summer. Still some warm days left. Still some adventures to be had. Receive the gift of this time, the gift of these moments, these experiences, this source, this harmony with the rhythms of nature. Savor this gift. Allow this natural world surrounding us, however it touches you, however it calls out to you. Allow it to reach you and soothe you, inspire you, and piece you back together. So much love to you all. Amen.